We're going to start where we left off last time, where we had our corrected black and white drawing in Gimp, and we're going to bring in the color background. We've taken it, we printed it out, we colored it. We didn't trace over the black lines because we're not going to have to. What we've done is we've got the color drawing, we put it on our scanner, and then we're going to scan it in. And remember, this was the scanner I used. I could use it. I don't know why it's got two of them, so we're not going to bother with that. Scan, open scanner. Now, here's something that's important. Color 300 dpi, the resolution has got to be the same as it was the first time, or it should be. The paper size should be the same as it was the first time. What we're trying to do is avoid having to scale the drawing at all. We're going to bring it to the same demo files, but it's not going to be color perspective BW scan. It's going to be color perspective color scan. And then we're going to go scan. Okay, I can close that. It's been scanned in. I can close that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, excuse me, Open as Layers. I'm going to go back into my folder, the final project files. And here is color scan. I double click on that. And lo and behold, I've got a color scan in here. A couple things are going on. One, you'll notice it's on the top layer. I want to take it and I want to drag it down below the black and white line work. I then want to rotate it. Transform tools, rotate, and I can either grab a corner or grab the thing and start dragging it until it says 90. Or I can just type in -90 and hit rotate. Now, if you'll notice, it's not lined up where it needs to be lined up. And so I'm going to try moving it. I want to move this layer. Please make sure that you're in the colored layer and not in the black and white layer. I'm going to go to my Move tool, and the scale does not look right on this. The scale is not right on this. Well, try as I might to get it right, it wasn't. A couple other things to notice. It needs to be rotated to match the original one. I can tell. I just moved it. Notice this top line doesn't line up with that line. So I'm going to try and fix that first. Tools. Transform tools. Rotate. I'm just going to try and move it. Negative means to the left, and I'm going to go negative 0.2 degrees. See what happens. It's better than it was, but I'm going to go back to Tools, Rotate Tools. I'm going to go plus 0.1 degrees and see if that's a little better. Angle, Now I'm going to type in 0.1. Rotate. Let me try and move it and see if it makes a difference. That corner up there. Yeah, I think that's about as good as we're going to get. All right, but I still have a problem in that if you'll notice, I'm going to shut off. Oh, I got to hit rotate. I'm going to turn off this layer. Nope. Okay, if I turn off the color layer, you'll notice that it's too small. I can do the same thing with the black and white line work. So somehow I've got to make this layer, the color layer, bigger. How do I do that? Tools, transform tools, scale. And quite frankly, I want to change that to %. And I'm going to go 105, 105%. The change clicks, so it should be the same. It says it a little different. I don't know why. Don't even worry about it. Scale. See how close we got. Remembering that we have to be in the color layer, not the black and white one. I move it to see how I'm doing. And now it's too big. So now I got to make it a little smaller. You can see it's too big because there's a black and white line and the color's bigger. And you have to go back and do this back and forth. Scale, set it to %, and let's go 99. Scale. Now it's too small again. Tools, transform tools, scale. %, 101. Scale. Well, that's way too big. I'm just going to go Command Z. Oh, it's still too big. I'm sorry. No, yeah, it's too big. So let's make this smaller. Tools, transform tools, scale. Let's go 99%. 99. If I click in there, it should be roughly the same. Scale. Ooh, that's pretty close. Making sure I'm in the color layer. I go to my move tool. I want to line up this corner and see. All right, that is pretty good. If you want to check it, you look at this corner, zoom in, you look at 2 points far away on the drawing. So let's go up to this corner. And I'm going to go ahead and move that a little bit. You can see it's off on this corner a little bit. So I'm going to be in my move command, make sure I'm in the color layer. And I'm going to move that down until it lines right up. I then pan over and look in this corner and see how close I am. Well, what I can tell is that I'm a little too small. Excuse me, I'm a little too big. See the color layer over here? It's a little bigger. I'm going to scale it one more time, hopefully. Tools, and it's too big. Transform tool, scale. %. I'm going to go 99.5. Scale. Okay, I'm going to drag it again using the move command. Line up that corner so the line disappears. I'm going to pan up here and see how close we got it. Ah, too small. Tools, transform tools, scale. %. 100.5. 5. Scale. Line it up again. There's just a lot of back and forth with this until you finally get it right where you want it. Or pretty close to where you want it. I've got that same problem again. Still not close enough. It was too big. Percent. I'm going to go 99.8% scale. Okay, let's see how that works. Looks promising. Corner to corner. That's as close as you're going to get right there. What you can do, what I would do is I would go to the middle of the drawing and look, and you can use if you're in the move command, you can use your arrow keys and just nudge it a little. See, I nudged it up just by tapping the arrow keys. Tap, 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 tap. See, I went too far. I tap it up a couple times, and then I can tap to the right, up, too far, tap to the left, too far, tap over to the right. So what I've done is I've just imported the color drawing, and if you take a look at this, if I shut off the black and white line work layer, there's what the color drawing looked like. But if I click the layer on, all of a sudden you'll see that line work gets black as though I traced over all of it. And it makes a big difference in the drawing. And it makes a bigger difference if you zoomed in. You can really see the difference, what I'm talking about here. Without the line work, with the line work. And it just saved you all the trouble of redoing all that line work. So I tend to do this. I don't trace my black and white drawings. You can do this on your site plans. You can do this on your elevations. First time it might be a little bumpy, but now I'm going to save this. File, save as, color corrected. No, cancel. Sorry, I have to do the name up here, not down there. Color corrected XCF. Save. Okay, then what I'm going to do, I can see I've got the name there. I'm going to go ahead and export it. File. Export as. I'm going to go select file type. Oh, it's already in well, no, I clicked the button by mistake. I want it to be a JPEG image. Color corrected JPEG. Export. 100% for the quality. Export. Now, at a later date, when we start doing our title sheets, we can bring this drawing in. If I go to Finder, there's my color corrected. Oops. Well, fortunately, that should be color. I didn't hit the right button. Color scan corrected. Sorry about that. I just had to rename it. Okay, if I click on it, now I've got that color scan as a single JPEG. There's no layers. It's just a picture of what I did. Other things you can do, I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I want to show you, I want to do a couple corrections. Move to trash, or delete, excuse me. Mine's moved to trash. Let's get back in here. I did have a couple problems in the drawing. And we get these all the time. For example, if you'll notice right here on the corner, all that white trim, I've got a whole bunch of tree stuff there, the green from the markers. Well, what I can do is I can go to the polygonal lasso tool, make sure I'm in the color drawing. I can left click, move it, left click. Should be able to pan down to here. Left click, left click. Notice I'm doing this right in the center of the black line. Left click. Left click. Left click. And what I'm doing is I'm clicking and making a shape. Again, staying in the center of those black lines. So I want to get some of this out of there too. Left click. Oh, I want to go all the way down. Left click. I'm going to leave a little bit there. I made a funky shape, but you can also do this in little sections. I like to do it in a big one. When you bring it back to the beginning, see it change to yellow, click it, and now you'll see it made a selection. You might be able to hit delete. Nope. I go edit, cut. Command Z. Maybe I wouldn't do that. Huh. I'm sorry. Hit enter. There. Now I've got a selection. See how it's marching? I forgot to hit enter before. And now I might be able to hit delete. Didn't work. Make sure you're in the color layer. Let's try edit, cut. There. Notice it just cut all that color out of my trim. So if I were to look at just the color drawing, shut off the background, shut off class perspective, see what it cut out? I can even turn the background on. I cut out all that color, but because I've got the line work on top of it, it looks fine. And I can see other areas. Window trim is a classic place I'd take some out. It only takes a couple minutes. You know, wherever I got blobs of color sticking over where I wanted it to go, I would go through and do that. It takes a few minutes, and I can erase all those blobs. Yeah, I got a little bit of sky overhanging there. I'd clean that up. And that, again, same thing. I got a little bit of sky. So here, let's do some little ones. You can also just use a rectangle if you don't want to use the... Oh, that's a problem. Edit, cut, and it's gone. I mean, you can get carried away, but you know, this window, I'm going to use the polygonal lasso tool. Click, 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 enter, edit, cut. That looks okay. Oh, I got a little blob over here. A bunch of them over here. I've also got a smear on my ink that if I wanted to get rid of, I could fix that. I'll do that in a minute. I might not. That's going to be a lot of work. I'll have to work a couple different layers. I got a bunch of junk in here. Let's just get rid of all of it. See that? All that yellow over this line, the beige. Enter. Edit. Cut. It's gone. Enter, edit, cut. And again, I would go through and do all these windows. But I'm going to call that pretty good. And you can clean it up and get rid of some minor mistakes. Other things you can do, if you want to, again, if I'm in the color layer, I can do colors. I can do, let's see, what have we got? I can do curves in the color layer and make it, I think. Apparently not. Let's just hit cancel. I'm going to make sure I'm on select none. Yeah, that was the problem. Colors, curves. See if this works a little better. Yeah. All right, see, I can mess with this. I can make the color brighter. I can make the color darker, but I start getting background, so I wouldn't bother doing that. If I slide that one, it gets a little darker, and I kind of like that. So I'm going to adjust that a little bit on the bottom. I don't want to get carried away. I can make it hideous. But, you know, adding a square darkened up those trees, and I kind of liked it. So let's go OK. File, save. File, export as. Notice it's already in the JPEG file. I'm going to change the name of this to color this time. Color scan corrected. It's still going in the right, so we'll do that. Still going in the right folder. And I go export. Export. And in theory, color scan corrected, and there's our drawing. Well, that took you through a lot of what I went through last class, and it should be helpful to you when you want to start scanning the drawings.